In our main event, welterweights will clash with the state title on the line. Undefeated as an amateur, Parlier, California's Chris Avalos has shown an affinity for the stoppage. Finishing fights by both way of strikes and submission, Avalos will look for another signature stoppage on the biggest stage of his amateur career. Standing in his way is the durable Caleb Tenpas. After dropping the first fight of his amateur run, Tenpas has gone on to win 3 of his last 4 contests. Tonight, he looks to capture welterweight gold, solidifying his status as one of the area's best prospects. Coming up next, it's our main event of the evening, as Chris Avalos meets Caleb Tenpas. You're watching Tachi Palace Fights, Prospects number 1. Caleb Tenpas making his walk for the first time to the Tachi Palace Fights cage. Interesting entrance attire for the Valencia native. He is 3-2 on his amateur run and gets an opportunity at winning a state championship here tonight, which would be a really big feather in his cap as he is on the road to becoming a pro. When you make that walk, I don't care if it's as a professional, an amateur, just a guy, you are walking out to the cage as the right half of the main event. That's got to feel like something special, and Tenpas gets to have that opportunity before he even turns pro.
Yeah, it's a huge accumulation of feelings to watch all the people go out, come back in. You can feel the adrenaline coming off the winners. You can feel the regret and the sorrow coming off of the losers. And then there's a lot of mental fortitude that a person has to put all of that aside, to not entertain any of those emotions that are being paraded in front of them, and to just stay inside their own head and focus on the upcoming fight.
Caleb Tenpas vies for welterweight gold here at Tachi Palace Fights. Standing in his way, the undefeated Christian Avalos. They call him the LandShark, 23 years old from Parlier, California. He says his style is the P-Town beatdown. Says he's from a small town and has big dreams. He wants to be a star in mixed martial arts and has done quite well for himself through 6 amateur contests. This building has produced so many opportunities for some of not just the Western United States best prospects, but some of the world's prospects. Richard Goodman has flown people from Japan, Brazil, really everywhere that major mixed martial arts stars have come from to compete in this building. And for Christian Avalos, he gets that opportunity before he even turns pro, and he gets the same experience that, say, an Ian McCall did before moving over to the UFC. He's fighting inside the same cage, the same room, a title is on the line, and no one understands what that feels like until it's happening.
Experience like this is invaluable. A lot of people, when they get to the UFC, they're a little bit out of their element because of the bright lights, the interviews, the media, the attention, the huge crowds. But being able to go from Invicta to the UFC, where they were that professional, they did have all the lights, all the media, all the crowd, it was all there. That was a huge advantage, I felt like. And so for Chris and Caleb, I feel like they're getting a great advantage being able to be here fighting on this major stage.
Absolutely. Ton of similarities, I think, between Invicta and Tachi, especially that guy that calls the fights. Chris Avalos, Caleb Tenpas. Caleb, say for our main event, 1-inch taller is the LandShark, both on point, 170 pounds. Tenpas, 1 year the elder, 24-23. Undefeated is Avalos at 5-0, and Tenpas at 3-2. Championship is on the line for our official introductions of our main event. Here's the Iron Man, Tyson Johnson.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for the main event of the evening. This bout will be 3 3-minute rounds in the welterweight division. This bout is being brought to you by the law offices of Jonathan Rooker. Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is for the Tachi Palace Fights welterweight state title. Ladies and gentlemen, first, fighting out of the blue corner. This fighter stands 5 feet 10 inches tall. He weighed in at 170 pounds. He represents Team Sandoval with an MMA record of 3 wins and 2 defeats. He hails from Valencia, California. Please welcome Caleb Tenpas. And his opponent fighting out of the red corner stands 5 feet 10 inches tall. He weighed in at 170 pounds. He represents Rouse House Fight Gym with an undefeated record of 5 wins and 0 defeats. He hails from Parlier, California. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Chris Avalos. Your referee for this championship bout is Jason McCoy.
All right, guys, I expect a clean fight out of both of you. Listen to my instructions at all times, protect yourself at all times. Touch your gloves, let's do it.
The welterweight title on the line. Christian Avalos, Caleb Tenpas. The main event of Tachi Palace Fights Prospects #1.
Fucking guy, man. All right, you ready? You ready? Fight!
Touch of gloves, we are underway. Avalos in the black with white trim. Tenpas in the white with blue. Flurry of action here. Avalos coming in with some hard punches. Uppercut misses. Able to land a knee on the inside. Now Tenpas tries to land some knees of his own. Beautiful plum points here on display by Tenpas, but Avalos trying to punch his way out of it. Huge left and rights here by Avalos. The composure on display there of Tenpas to hold on to it for as long as he did.
Yeah, I am being impressed by the skill and the composure of both of these fighters.
They're in the main event spotlight tonight. You can argue that a pro debut is probably just around the corner for both of these guys. Avalos trying to end this one early with some big knees. Got to make sure he does not knee the head, though.
I think at this point, Tenpas needs to stay out of the clinch. I don't think that he was winning inside the clinch.
Tenpas now on the floor. He leaned back and threw that high kick. Actually, was grabbing the fence when he did it. Now Avalos setting up here in half guard. Oh, there he goes.
This is a good position for Avalos. The way he just pinned that hand down. He's got one hand on the jaw. He was holding Tenpas down.
You gotta get out of there.
This is a pretty dominant position for Avalos.
Tenpas able to get his head away from the fence. Now he's in space.
Whoa,
Now
no.
the leg is entangled there. You
break.
cannot do
No,
any
you
leg
don't grab the
lock.
fence.
So
you understand me?
the only leg lock
Get
that
up,
is
get
allowed
up.
is a knee bar. So the rotational
Ready?
leg lock,
No more of that
if
shit.
you are in the position, referee will intervene and immediately start you back on the feet, and that's what we see here. Which is, now we see Avalos throwing some big strikes. The leg lock rule is unfortunate in the sense that in mixed martial arts, a lot of times the leg lock battle isn't ended with a submission. It's a transition move where you get on top, but right now there's no transition about this. Tenpas trying to capitalize on some heavy strikes. Avalos working a takedown, needing to protect his neck, and he does. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it looked like Tenpas got a head kick, and that
There's
really...
some blood flowing there, sorry.
I wonder if that's what opened up that blood, because that really started getting the momentum in his favor.
I can't see the right side of Avalos' head. I can't see where the cut is. If it is over the eye, that could pose a problem. A lot of blood flowing, but Avalos now in the half guard. Touch over 30 seconds remaining here in round #1. Again, a lot of ebb and flow here. Just 2.5 minutes into the opening round.
You gotta
of a
work,
3-minute
work, or I'll
round.
stand you up. Work,
These
or I'll
fights a
stand
lot
you up.
shorter in duration, but the stories are unfolding with as many chapters nonetheless.
I think Avalos needs to capitalize on this. He's got the blood flowing. He's already damaged. He needs to get position, get up high, and then just start dropping, because who knows if this fight is going to be continued with that much blood coming.
Now the blood on the right side of Avalos' head, and it's all over Caleb Tenpas.
I was going to say, everywhere on Tenpas.
Better work on that.
They're working on it. They got to put some Vaseline on, see if they can stop the bleeding from impairing the vision. It's on the side of his head, so it's, you know, cuts on the top of the head and the side of the head in that scalp, they bleed an awful lot. Now, one good thing for Avalos is, despite there being a lot of blood, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to stop it. So as long as it's not impairing the vision, he should be good.
So we saw Avalos was getting the better of a lot of these different exchanges, especially up inside the clinch, but I think we're gonna, yeah, there was that kick. His knee hit the side of his head. That, I think, would go along with where we're seeing the blood come from.
And again, that knee was the result of a kick, so not the quote-unquote illegal knee that could have happened, but there we go. So now we are headed to round two.
No, you're good.
Again, you're going to see that blood start flowing again from Avalos just because the heart rate is going to increase and head cuts bleed an awful lot. But again, I don't believe that it will result in a stoppage due to its location.
It's going to be interesting to see how that.
Big swing and a miss there. Avalos able to try to turn it into a takedown, working a single leg. Tenpas grabbing the neck. He's in on it. Avalos had to kind of have a desperation move there. He gets out of it. Now he's in the full guard here of Tenpas. Tenpas trying to bring that guard high, maybe shoot a triangle.
Both of these men looking very dangerous in multiple positions.
Come on, you got to work, guys. You got to work.
Amateurs tonight showcasing their skills on Tachi Powell's fight stage. Tented triangle for Tenpas that allows Avalos to get out of the guard and stand. Looks like he's trying to do that, clear the legs and come over the top with a hard right hand. Fedor Emelianenko used that quite well in his career.
You know, it's not as exciting to watch that part, but it's an effective technique for using up the time. This whole time, he's counting down the clock while he's in a good position standing up.
Tenpas invited him to the floor. Avalos looked like he was going to engage. Now he does. I really like the guard game here of Tenpas. Now working a Kimura. Not a high percentage submission in mixed martial arts, but one that can induce scrambles and reverse your fortune if you're on the bottom.
I love guard games too, but in a 3-minute round, those attacks need to be focused on getting someone to stand right back up or get the sweep.
Also, too, Tenpas seems to have some more advanced leg locks in his game. He hasn't been able to utilize them, but he went inverted a moment ago, like looking for those attacks here in an amateur fight. While he has them, they really don't do a lot of good.
Yeah, see, I was wrong about my understanding. I thought that as long as the foot wasn't grabbed for the attacking of the leg, that they could just continue, because that's one of the things about attacking the legs is they're so effective for opening up a pass or getting the sweep.
It may very well be up to the referee's interpretation, but when you're in that position, we learned here that Jason McCoy doesn't want you to even have it. Right now, we see Avalos posturing up, right hands getting through. Tenpas trying to slow it down, get him close, and he wraps up his guard. Tenpas overhooking on the left arm, or right arm of Avalos rather. See if Tenpas is able to wall walk here or get free.
I feel like Avalos really slowed this round down a whole lot and is making sure that he gets to end on top. That looks like it's being his main focus.
And that's a smart move for this young fighter who's getting his reps in undefeated. I don't know if he's ever had to deal with a cut in a fight before, let alone a cut this bad. When you have that blood flowing and you are able to make the proper adjustments to not get rattled, that's another step in the right direction. And again, we see Avalos able to get that experience under his belt before the paydays start flying and everything sort of steps up in importance.
Yeah, being able to deal with blood is definitely a skill that's going to pay off in an MMA career. I mean, some of the most impressive fights, when I think of one of the best fights, there was Nick Diaz when he had his eye was just cut out and there was blood gushing. Like, that's kind of like, in my mind, one of the epic win moments is to be like, yeah, I'm cut, but look, I still got it. And so to be able to find that fortitude to keep on going.
Avalos was in trouble with that guillotine, but was able to get out of it. Nice move for him. And again, I think you're right, Leslie. He was able to land some offense here, but he was able to slow things down and really, put it in the judges' minds that he was in control, and that speaks volumes to the overall goal of trying to win this fight, try to go the distance.
And that goes a lot, that I feel like is one of the things about martial arts that is so useful in life, is because he had to control himself in order to control the fight, and it worked.
Tenpas coming high again with that lead left kick.
When both of these guys, I realized they both had Muay Thai shorts. I should have said it out loud, but I was like, I hope we're going to see some kicking. And they both have done a lot of kicking.
But it's largely been the wrestling game and control game of Christian Avalos, and we see that again here just 30 seconds into the third and final round, back in half guard.
And we're seeing the same pattern that Avalos did earlier in the evening, which was to get on top, to try to step on that arm, to force Tenpas to give him a better position.
Belly down was Caleb. Now he's in a rear naked choke.
Underneath the chin.
Christian Avalos trying to lock it up here, palm to palm. Caleb Tenpas, he taps. The new welterweight state champion, Christian Avalos.
I love
Still
it.
undefeated Leslie Smith. I can't wait to see the progression of this young man.
Yeah, me either. You know what I love too is that he walked out with that blue belt. From the very first second, he was like, this is my skill level. This is what I got, and I'm proud of it. And then to be able to come in here, go through the adversity, and then finish with a choke like that, very impressive.
The 23-year-old Christian Avalos getting it done. Walk us through the end.
He was just on so tight. I really like the way that he was holding on, and he kept himself from sliding up. That's what a lot of people would have done right there and then lost that position, but he didn't. He was underneath the chin, and he had Tenpas arched already. There wasn't really an opportunity for Tenpas to get out at any point in time because it was underneath the chin, so there's no fighting the hands once it's that deep underneath the chin. And then he already had him arched, and it's really, really hard to come back from being arched like that because you can't even get to the side of one of the legs in order to start clearing your back.
His name is Christian Avalos, firmly on the radar. He gets a belt, a gold belt, to go along with that blue belt that he's showing off inside the Tachi Palace Fights cage. And what more could we ask for from both of these men in our main event, the first ever prospect show here in Lemoore? And yeah, the grassroots of the sport, the movement, the evolution, it is strong. Welterweight champion will be crowned. To make it official, here's Tyson.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 55 seconds into round number 3, your winner by way of tap out and new California State MMA champion, Chris Avalos.
Defending his title. I just want to make a quick announcement. I know we're giving out contracts tonight, so I want to congratulate Chris Avalos on his Tachi Palace contract that he will be making his pro debut in November. I'd also like to welcome Uni Valencia. If you're out there, be ready for November, bud. You got the contract as well. Let's do this.
All right, I'm here with Christian Avalos. What a fight, what a night. You cap it off, capturing the welterweight title and a contract in the process. Just tell me about your performance, because everyone in here will agree it was fun to watch. How fun was it performing tonight?
Man, it was amazing performing right here at Tachi Palace Fights. I already envisioned my performance in here. I knew I was gonna come in here and fight. Tough opponent, hats off to Caleb. He's a good opponent, you know. I never look around any other opponent, you feel me? Any opponent that they give me, I take them serious and I train my ass off of them, no matter who he is.
Undefeated as an amateur, you get it done. You capture this title, you capture the contract. What's next for you in the pro ranks? How far do you think you're gonna go here in Tachi Palace Fights?
I'm gonna go to the top and get another bout, feel me? I want a professional bout, Tachi Palace bout. And I'm not gonna stop training until November. Make my debut here and show everybody how much I'm improving every fight.
Hard to argue with that. One more time for Christian Avalos. We made history here tonight at Tachi Palace Fights, the first time this promotion has ever done an all-amateur card, and there was nothing amateur about this one. It had everything you want in a night of fights.
This is one of the most exciting cards that I've ever gotten to call. It had it all. It had back and forth, it had submissions, we got knockouts. This wonderful.
Absolutely, we get to do it again coming up in August. I cannot wait as TPF and the Prospects shine once again. For Leslie Smith, I'm TJ DeSantis. Good night from Lemoore.